All right, it is the 17th of January. This is Rabbi Levitt, and we are doing the Gemora.
Okay, so
Say what, Gemora?
Bava Kama, according to the understanding communicated by Moshe Rabbeinu.
104A3. Left-hand column.
according to the information communicated to us by the Art Scroll Elucidation Series.
Hi, Aaron.
104, what did you say, 104A3?
Yep,
Thank you.
that's what Phil said before.
Left column. Near the top as it starts.
Okay, so what we did yesterday, we ended off with the fact that the Gemora answered for Reb Chizda, and the Gemora said Tirgum Reb Chizda the Schiro Ulakitoi, that basically what the Gemora is saying over here is that our Mishnah that says that you cannot do a shliach for this Gazlan who is Nishba L'Sheker, according to Reb Chizda, what that shliach, who is that shliach over there? It's really not a duly appointed shliach in the presence of witnesses, because if it would have been, then that guy, if you give it to him, that'll be good. That'll be regarded as if you gave it into the hand of the nigzal, the one that was stolen from, the victim. But Rav Chizda says really it's referring to his companion or his employee, who he did not duly appoint as a shliach in front of witnesses. But the reason that the Mishnah calls him a shliach is because he's the one that was told by the Gazlan to go and give it to, or he was the one that the Nigzal told to go and collect it from the Gazlan, to receive it from the Gazlan. Okay, so now the Gemora is going to continue with Aval. Gemora has a reservation with this answer that we just gave to defend Reb Chizda. And we like to call upon Roy to start off the reading, Aval, so I could see the words Roy is talking on the top of my screen. I like that.
Aval shaliach soy vadim. But in the case of an agent that the victim appointed in the presence of witnesses, case of an agent appointed by the victim in the presence of witnesses, what do you think would be the law? Eichi nami dehave shaliach. You say that indeed he is his legally empowered agent. And if the robber returns the article to him, it's considered as though he returns it to the victim himself.
Right?
Adasone sefer aval nasein hu lishliach beis din. But then, rather than teaching in the next clause, but he may give it to an agent of the court, liflug velisnei bedidei, let the Mishnah make a distinction and teach an exception to the initial ruling with respect to the victim's agent himself as follows. Is that all that? B'mei devarim omarim. When was this matter of the first clause stated? That is, when did we say that the giving the article to the victim's agent does not constitute a valid return? V'shaliach shalel aso v'adin. It was stated regarding an agent that he did not appoint in the presence of witnesses, aval, but shaliach so v'adin. As for the agent that he appointed in the presence of witnesses, Eichel nami dehave shaliach, he is indeed a legally empowered agent. and returning the stolen article to him is tantamount to returning it to the victim himself.
Okay, very good. So you see the Gemara is not accepting the answer that the Gemara gave to explain the Mishnah according to Rav Chizda. The Gemara is saying here, it's if that would be true, like you're saying, then the Mishnah should not have gone into the case of giving it to the Shliach Bezdin right away. The Gemara should have stayed with this very case of giving it to a Shliach and made a distinction between giving it to a duly appointed Shliach in front of witnesses as opposed to giving it to his companion or his employee. In that scenario itself, we could make a distinction between whether it constitutes a valid return of the stolen article to the Nigzal, the one it was stolen from, or not. And the fact that it didn't do that, the fact that the Mishnah didn't mention that, is the Gemara feels is reason to believe that the answer that we gave for Rav Chizda is insufficient. Do we have any Rashi on this?
I think we did all the Rashis that were up to this point.
Did these Rashis? Yeah. Okay. Okay. So we are on our own over here. Let's see what following the. This is a you'll find this point that the Gemara is making over here very often. It's a commonly used challenge when the Gemara gives an answer. So let's see what the Gemara is going to answer to this follow-up challenge to the answer that the Gemara already gave. Now the Gemara is going to answer this challenge, and that can be found with Amrei. Those that learn in the yeshiva, they gave the answer. What's their answer? We call upon Alan to continue the reading.
Gemara answers, Amre, they say, Lo Sikor Ale, the Tana did not state this distinction because he was unable to make an absolute statement regarding an agent appointed in the presence of witnesses as he did regarding an agent of the court.
Oh, what does this mean over here?
Well, Gemara will explain it.
Oh, that's what it says there.
Gemara explains. That's the next.
I was just thinking to say, I don't understand that answer. Okay.
It's the last section on the bottom of page 104A3, left-hand column.
In other words, what the Gemara is saying over here when it says lo psikale, that's sort of like a shorthand expression. The literal meaning of it, lo psikale, is it means that this halacha that we're talking about over here with the agent, lo psikale, it's not always across the board. That's what we would say in English. That what the Gemara answered, it was suggesting that we should have answered is not good. We couldn't have answered that, said the Gemara, because it's not an answer which is going to apply in all scenarios. And now we're going to. That's what the Gemara said. Shliach Bezdin. As far as the Shliach Bezdin goes, lo shna, it makes no difference. Also nigzal, lo shna, also gazlan. Have shliach. That is psikale. That's a rule that will apply in all cases. It makes no difference whether, in other words, if the gazlan gives it to the shliach of the Bezdin, doesn't matter whether the nigzal appointed him in front of witnesses or whether the Goslin appointed from the witness. It's not. It's an official Bezdin. The Bezdin appointed him, and that's good enough. We don't need the two parties to have appointed him in front of witnesses in order to make him a valid shliach. So that's a rule that the Goslin could give it to this person, this shliach Bezdin, and that rule is going to apply across the board. That's psikule, says the Gemora. But and therefore the Gemora is explaining that that's why the Mishnah chose to discuss that case of the Goslin has the ability to avail himself of giving the article to the shliach Bezdin, to give it into the Bezdin, and then he's good to go. He's fulfilled his obligation. He doesn't have to personally go to Madai and give it to the Nigzal. But, said the Gemora, which is not so in the other case. Which is not so in the other case. Which is the other case? Shliach she'asu be'edim. If the person, his whole they say his yichus, his whole standing as an individual who can be regarded as a shliach is based upon the fact that one of these two guys, the guy that stole it or the guy that it was stolen from, appointed this guy as a shliach in front of witnesses. If that's the scenario that you want to talk about, says the Gemora, that's what the Gemora wanted to say. That's what we should have talked about. That's lo psikale. That's not going to be true across the board in all cases that it's going to work. Why not? Says the Gemara, because the ki also nigzal hu dahabe shliach. That only works when the nigzal appoints this guy as his shliach. I'm assuming in front of witnesses, and then that will allow the Goslin to give the item to that representative, that shliach, and that will count as though the nigzal got it, and then the Goslin will be off the hook. He will have fulfilled his obligation of returning the stolen article that he stole and that he swore falsely on, and that we required him to go to Madai in order to give it to the nigzal. And if he gives it to the shliach who was duly appointed in front of witnesses by the nigzal, then he's good to go. But it doesn't work the other way around, says the Gemara. Also Goslin, if the Goslin made a shliach, right? So that doesn't help anything. Lo have shliach. He's not going to be he's not a shliach, even if he points it in front of witnesses. It's lo have shliach. He's not the shliach. He's not a shliach who's going to help anything. He's the shliach of the Goslin. So lo psikale, says the Gemara. What's it mean over here when the Gemara says lo psikale? It's not true in all cases. Because what's going to happen if the Goslin, what does the Goslin want to do? He says, all we got to do is get a shliach, give it to the shliach. Oh, okay, I'll make a shliach. So he goes and makes a shliach. You're my shliach, and he does it even in front of witnesses. So now what happens? If something happens to that to the stolen article that the shliach is carrying, what's gonna happen? It doesn't help at all. The Goslin is still on the hook. It doesn't help anything to give it to him, I suppose. I mean, I know for a fact it doesn't help him. I suppose that's what the Gemara means. And so since in this scenario there is it's not true across the board that the people can appoint a shliach, because only the nigzal is going to be able to appoint a shliach so that the Goslin will be able to avail himself of making a proper return of the stolen article. But if the Goslin does so, it's not going to help. It's not going to help. I'm just thinking right now, why wouldn't it help if the Goslin says, here, you're my shliach, I point you in front of witnesses, now go and take this to Ploni, wherever you find him. If he gives it to the Nigzal, so why wouldn't it work? It should work. He's his duly appointed representative. It's like the Goslin himself gave it to him, I would think. Let's see what the Gemora says further. We still don't have any Rashi. Okay, now we're up to Ulafuke Mihai Tana. Lou, would you like to continue?
Yeah, okay. Ulafuke Mehai Tana. Let's see. And this precludes the opinion of the following Tana. Tisanya, we learned in a brisa, Rabbi Shimon ben Elazar Omer, Rabbi Shimon ben Elazar says, Shaliach Beis Din She'asa'o Nigzal Velo Asa'o Gazlan. The agent of the court was appointed by the victim and not appointed by the robber. So we're precluding the Tana who says at the agent was appointed by the victim. Asa'o Gazlan v'shaleach chala v'natal es shalo miyado. Or the agent who received payment was appointed. Excuse me, I have to take a call.
Okay.
Hello.
Phil, please continue.
Okay,
Let's start from the beginning over here. Start from Ulafuke Mihai Tana. This, what the Gemora is now saying, would be would make the our Mishnah exclude the following Tana.
Fuki Mahai Tana. This is going to exclude which Tana? The Tanya we learned, Reb Shimon ben Elazar. Reb Shimon. And 2 seconds. Reb Shimon ben Elazar. Omer says Shliach Beit Din, Shliach of the Beit Din, Sha'asu Nigzal, that the victim made, the lo Asu Gazlan, and the robber didn't make, or Asu Gazlan, or the robber made, the Shalach, and he sent them, Hala, and the Shalach, and he sent it, Hala v'netel. Now, it's Hala v'netel now. Let's get this.
Hala v'natal.
Hala,
Shalom biyado.
v'natal, he takes it. He goes and he takes at Shalom his miyado from his hand. He would be putter.
Oh, it's
So he-
quite confusing over here. Uh, let's just go over this again. It's quite confusing, the lesson of this Bryce or whatever it is in Mishnah. Bryce, but Sanya, Shimon Elazar Omer. This is the view of Shimon Elazar. Now, by the way, what the Gemora is doing over here is saying Lafuke Mahaitana. What the Gemora has just answered in the previous answer to defend Reb Chizda is going to make it that our Mishnah is going to be not in agreement and coming to exclude the view of another Tana, this Tana over here of Shimon ben Elazar, that the Gemara is now going to bring the Brisa, that we're going to see what does Reb Shimon ben Elazar hold, and that thereby we could better understand what we were saying in the previous step of the Gemara that our Mishnah holds. So what does it say that Reb Shimon ben Elazar holds? If you got a Shliach Bezdin, and it says over here, She'asa Nigza, V'lo asa Gazlan. He's a Shliach Bezdin, but the Nigzal appointed him, but the Gazlan did not appoint him. That's one case. And then it says, or alternatively, another case. Also Gazlan, a Gazlan made him a Shliach, this Shliach Bezdin, his Shliach. And then it says, V'shalach Chala. The Notel es Shalo Miyado. And here, what is a bit needs a bit of explanation over here is it doesn't say over here, and he sent he sent after this shliach to and he took he took it from his hand. Who's the he? So it would seem that the he over here that Reb Shimon Elazar is talking about is the nigzal. So we're talking about a case where the Gazlan appointed a shliach. He gave the stolen article to his shliach. And by the way, we're talking about that this shliach, in addition to being the shliach of the Gazlan, he's the shliach of the Bezdin, because that's the we started talking over here, shliach Bezdin. And now we're saying a second case. So this shliach Bezdin was appointed by the Gazlan in the second case, and then Shalach Hala is referring to the Nigzal, that the Nigzal sent a different shliach to go and fetch the stolen item from the shliach that was made by the Gazlan. Benotal es shalo miyado, and he took what was his. In other words, the stolen article that the Gazlan stole. That's how I know that we're talking about the Nigzal sent this guy. Miyado, from the hand of the shliach of the Gazlan. So in that case, Reb Shimon Elazar says that he is putter. In other words, the Gazlan is off the hook. He's fulfilled his obligation in that case. So what is it that we see about this? What is it that we see over here about what Reb Shimon Elazar holds, and how is it that it's different than what we said over in the previous step according to the Mishnah? This Tana, Reb Shimon Elazar holds that the shliach of the Bezdin that the Gazlan made does not exempt the Gazlan unless he gets unless the stolen item gets into the hand of the shliach of the nigzal, the victim. And that's not like the way that we explained our Mishnah according to Reb Chizda, where we said that the shliach Bezdin is a duly appointed representative, whether or not the Gazlan appointed him, whether or not the Nigzal appointed him, even if no one appointed him. he is the Shliach Bezdin, and that's the end of the story. That's what our Mishnah says. If the Goslin gives it to the Shliach Bezdin, then that's it. He's off the hook. He's fulfilled his obligation. Over here, we see that Rav Shimon ben Elazar doesn't hold like that. In addition to him being the Shliach Bezdin, he needs to be appointed by the parties themselves in order for his shlichus to work in order to allow the Goslin to give it to the Nigzal. That it's regarded as though he gave it into the hand of the Nigzal. That's the whole idea of the shliach over here. The shliach makes it as though if you give it to the shliach of the guy, it's regarded as you gave it to the guy. And that'll even fulfill the obligation of having to give it to the hand of the Nigzal, even in the case of the Goslin who swore falsely. Okay. Next, we have any more time?
No,
No.
33.
33. Oh,
Yeah.
wow. I got 31. I have to change my clock.
I have 30.
You have 30.
I have 33.
Oh, 2 votes for 33.
Okay.
Phil's the tiebreaker. What does Phil have?
I have 33 also.
Oh, wow.
Okay, 33 it is.
Okay.
Thank
Lou,
you, Rabbi.
All
Lou,
the best.
Okay. Take
Now
care.
I know why I'm always late for davening.
okay, Lou, see you at 4, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yimit Hashem.
Thank you, Rabbi. Bye.